Audience, another successful night. I'm from East New York, Brooklyn. That is not the appropriate response. For those of you that haven't been to East New York before, keep it that way. You're doing great. You are making better life choices than I do. East New York is not the safest of neighborhoods. People don't want to be outside that long, so we've developed really efficient shopping. You know? Like I went into a store last week, same store. I bought a raw chicken, a baseball glove, and a used air conditioner. I went in for a t-shirt. Like I didn't get what I wanted, but I got what I needed. I'm a landlord in East New York. That is also not the appropriate response for that. A while back, I was driving up to one of my buildings. When I got out the car, this white lady walked up to me and she asked me for directions. Like in front of everybody. I can't have that. It's gonna ruin my street cred, you know? I can't be so safe that I'm white people approachable. In East New York, that's a problem for me. I got hood tenants. They're not gonna pay me rent if they think my friends crochet. It didn't bother me at first, but there was a crossing guard. There was a cop, like she chose me. She looked around and said, "Nah, you're the safest option." So she was like, "Excuse me." I was like, "No, excuse me. Why did you ask me for directions?" And she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I just noticed in the back of your car, you had 2 car seats. I didn't think you were that dangerous. Apparently, gangsters don't care about child safety." If that's a rumor in the white community, I'm here to dispel that today. Just so y'all know, my kids will get to class, but I still might shoot you. I've been having trouble with white people at work. You know, this white lady came up to me, she was like, "Gastor, that's a weird name." My name's not weird, it's effective. Say what you will for the rest of your life. If somebody says, "Hey, have you met Gastor?" you instantly know yes or no. White people haven't figured out that's the purpose of names. Hey, have you met Michael? That's not enough information. They realized this was a problem, so they added middle names. But the middle names sound like first names. No, I met Michael John. We're still in the same place, man. Michael John, he's married to Tracy, they live in Astoria, they work on the 2nd floor in accounting. Why do I need all this information? Why couldn't your parents do work? They had 9 months to come up with something better. This is not a problem in the black and brown community. We're great with names. Like one of my friends growing up, his name was Darrell. It sounds simple, but it's effective, you know? Real deceptive name. This is how his mom spelled it. Capital D, lowercase a, apostrophe, capital R, lowercase e, lowercase l. When people say, "Hey, have you met Darrell?" Darrell with the apostrophe, conversation over. I explained to her, like, "Yo, you know, it's a little trouble in having to go through this with people all the time." She's like, "I don't see how that could be, you know, stressful for you to explain your name." I was like, "Oh, you don't understand how having your name and culture questioned 40 hours a week, every day of your life, so you could assimilate at a job in white corporate America so you could pay bills. Could be mentally taxing. Amy. You don't relate to that struggle? Take note of that. I feel like I could be honest with y'all. I hate kids. Like, not all kids, because I have kids, but the rest of them kids, plus one of my kids, hate them dudes, yo. They always in the way, you know what I mean? Like, I was dropping off my son at school. I got called into the principal's office. I'm 30 years old. I didn't know that was still on the table. I get upstairs and she's like, Mr. Almonte, we've been getting complaints from the other parents. Apparently you've been knocking over kids in the schoolyard? You got anything to say about that? And I was like, well, ma'am, they were in my way. She's like, you're pushing kids in the schoolyard? I was like, no, ma'am, don't be ridiculous. It was more like an NBA pick. You know, like I didn't extend, but I stood firm. She's like, Mr. Almonte, don't you think there's another way you can handle that? I was like, man, I'm 6 feet tall. I'm 300 pounds. And I don't move fast. If that kid didn't see me coming, like, he not gonna see life coming. If anything, I did that for him, you know? My wife doesn't like that joke. She said, Gastor, when you talk like that, it sounds like you don't want